Welcome
back.
to the TAE Time Podcast.
Sickcast is right.
We are both sick. I'm recovering. Partially part of the reason why we didn't put an episode out last week. Also, Nicoletta had other plans as well, but also we were sick and still sick and recovering. But it is what it is, and we move on. As long as you get an episode pretty much consistently, you are happy. I'm happy. We are all happy, because it is what it is. Yes, we are all dressed up if you're watching because we have stuff to do right after this. A few things related to things that we can't tell you, but it is what it is. Yet. But today we have a special episode talking about two topics.
Wait.
I'm not saying what the topics are yet. Wow, chill.
Okay.
I'm saying that we have two topics.
Wait.
That will, it is two. The show and the, oh my God, the show that we watch.
Oh, okay.
Where everyone has lots of different opinions on.
Okay. I wasn't in with the memo, guys.
Yeah, I'm the one running the show today. And then, but before we get that, what's your weekly stand-up? How are you? How's life?
Easy. I had a little bachelorette trip.
Oh, what?
What?
We're getting married?
No. We already got religious and married. Silly. Had a little bachelorette trip with the girls, and oh my God, it was so nice. Like, I had no idea where we were going. It was a surprise trip. I basically got like a list of items to pack, and I was told to just bring the good vibes. It was amazing. And I found out at the airport where I was going, the girls got this little like scratch card thing that scratched out the like location where I was going. And I found out we were going to Lisbon, and I was so excited. Like, I know Farouk has been to Lisbon with his family. His experience kind of varied a little bit. Mine, it was definitely different than his because we went there to party, like, mostly, and then you went there to kind of like chill. But I was so surprised at how beautiful Lisbon is. I don't know why I didn't expect it to be so pretty. Maybe you didn't hype it up enough for me.
I told you the city was very pretty. Lisboa. I told you it was very pretty.
I don't know, but I don't know. Like, I guess it's different when people say something's pretty and then you see it. I just feel like there were so many streets like that were so beautiful. Like, the architecture was so beautiful. It's a really pretty city. It's not very big either, so you can see a lot of it on foot, which was really nice. We did catch some showers, but despite that, it was a good time. It wasn't raining when we needed it not to. So when we went exploring, it stopped raining and we got some sunshine. It was really good. But I got there. We went to bottomless brunch straight away. Didn't even have time for like a shower or anything. Just changed my top. What? Hey. We went to bottomless brunch, and then we came back, had a little lie-in, went out to dinner. I had a little veil in. Other girls got, actually, the Airbnb, the apartment. It was so beautiful. They decorated it, like had gift bags for all the girls there. It was so nice. Like, they just did so good. I know Chloe planned most of it, in terms of like decorating and everything. So it was very nice. Shout out to her. And this was planned before I even asked them to be bridesmaids. So they already had this in mind. Like, they already wanted to go on a trip together. So it was very nice.
It's very cutesy, very demure.
Very demure.
Very nice. It was good. So you enjoyed Lisbon, the city?
I did.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed the party life, even though it was kind of dead.
But that's because you guys went to like dead places, no?
No, I don't think so. Because the main clubs that are like in Lisbon that are meant to be big were actually closed.
Yeah, because you guys went like out of season, no?
Yeah, I think it was out of season. I think so. But like, we went to this little bar, right? Just to kind of like the first location before a night out. And it was on the street with like the little umbrellas, the pink street.
Mm-hmm.
And it was dead, but like at this point, like, we had a really good time. Like, Andrea was in like, come on girls, like, let's get up and dance. We got up and danced, and the music was all like throwbacks and everything, which was amazing. Like, I absolutely loved it. I was in my element. We did so many shots, like I lost count, and still woke up with a fresh head. ready to go. So
not bad. Yeah, I when I was there, it was pretty lively. Like, I didn't go clubbing, obviously, because I was with my family. But yeah, it was pretty lively. Like, the streets were lively in the evenings. I'd go for evening walks and it'd be lively as hell, everything. So, no, it seems like a nice city and enjoyable. I enjoy that city. You know, it's a different story if you're obviously with your family, doing a family getaway versus, like, you know, partying with your friends.
No, it was beautiful.
Oh, yeah, no.
What's your weekly stand-up?
Not really much, honestly. It's been kind of chill. Besides the fact that I got sick. I was sick for ages. I didn't pick up anything. And then I went for a little outing and then I got sick.
For literally like 2 days and you came back.
Yeah, and I came back sick. Like, that's crazy, you know? Like, literally didn't pick up anything for you for weeks and then I randomly get sick, which is really annoying. But it seems like it's fighting off now, nearly at the end. So, like, my ears are a little bit still, like, I can't really hear. But my nostrils, I can kind of breathe. My voice still sounds congested because I'm congested, but it is what it is. And we just have to wait for it to fight off.
Yeah, like, I know my friend, Nandy, she was insisting, like, go see a doctor. I'm like, I've taken antibiotics. I've done what I needed to do. At this point, let me just fight it out. Like,
yeah, because the other one was like a viral infection. I think this one is more like just like a normal cold or whatever, you know? So, yeah, it makes a bit of a difference. But any recommendations for Lisbon?
Recommendations. See, I don't really know the names of the places. I just went wherever I was led. The bottomless brunch was really good. Because if you're looking for like a bottomless in terms of drinks, like they kept refilling. We didn't even have to ask. We couldn't keep up with how fast they were coming.
Was it like mimosas or
yeah. Obviously, yeah. That was the only option. That or beer.
Yeah.
Like, no. Then what else did we do? We went to this really pretty restaurant with like a rooftop. We got to see like the view. That place was really nice and actually funny. It was funny. Okay, so I wanted to get the lobster roll. I love a good lobster roll.
She does love a good lobster roll.
And I told the waiter, and then he's like, don't get that, it's not worth it. He's like, it's like the tiniest piece of like lobster with mostly bread, and most people complain about it. And I was like, you know what, I rate you so hard, and I wish most waiters did that. He was like, look for something else, you know. So then I got the spaghetti. It was like just like vegetarian option.
I could do with some spaghetti.
Yeah, it was vegetarian. It was really
not
good.
Spaghetti pasta.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, no, I like Lisbon. I'll probably need to go back there again because I went years ago. My brother got sick all the way there.
Wasn't that long, was it?
No, it was like pretty long ago. Yeah, I think I was like 20.
No.
Or I was not. It was not after like 20. It was before. It was either 19 or 20. I'm being dead ass. Yeah.
Is this before we were living together?
Like in Dublin? Yes. This was before that.
How long have we been living together?
A good long time now. Maybe like
3-4 years? It is not 6.
What?
It is not 6. We've been living together for 3 or 4 years.
No.
Yes.
We
in the house for a year.
So you see, I counted you coming to my place as living together, like when you lived, like when I lived in Talbot Street.
What?
I counted that too.
I did not live with you.
You were practically there all the time, and then when COVID happened, you stayed there.
No, I mean when I say live together, like us two, like living together.
So you have to specify, guys. Come on, let's be freaking for real right now. You have to specify just 2 of us living together.
No, because I wouldn't say I was living with you in Dublin.
In Talbot Street.
I did not live with you.
Before I moved back to Tralee, you were living there for literally like 7 months.
No.
Are you Delulu? No, My Deliveroo purchases say otherwise.
I was there for a few weeks. Weeks.
Months.
No, I was not there for months. I was not there for months. No. I have receipts.
You have, exactly. You are the Snapchat queen.
Yes,
looking back, you were there for ages.
I was there for a few weeks, yes, because of COVID and everything. I got stuck there.
Anyway, anywho. Yes, a few years, but yeah, it was before that. It was like I'm telling you, I was like maybe like 19 or 20.
I don't think you were that young.
I was.
I don't think so, but
it was maybe 21 max because I know I was working full time, so it couldn't have been 19, so it had to be 20. Yeah. 20 or 21. It was 20 or 21.
Okay.
Yeah, so like it was either 6 or 7 years ago.
Maybe 22.
That it was not 22. I'll have you know that for free. 22 was COVID for me. 22, 23 was COVID for me.
Okay.
I lost all my 22, 23, 24.
Do you know what's so funny? This might be a little, should I say? I don't know. But you know, do you know how people are like, oh, like we actually lost time during COVID?
We lost 3
years.
And
I agree. Like we actually lost so much of our youth. But then it's like, what did you do afterwards, after to make up for the time that you lost? Like, did you do much?
You sound very out of touch right there.
I know it is out of touch. I that's why I said, should I even say this? This feels out of touch.
Like,
it is out of touch, but as in terms of like, for me, the biggest thing was like not having the gym. That was my biggest mental health like deterioration.
I got super lean during COVID.
No, I did too, because I started working out at home. I started running. I started doing everything. But still, no access to the gym was honestly really like, you know, I don't know. It's so weird. My voice is in and out.
Yeah.
So that was a big thing for me. So then like after COVID, the biggest thing I did was spend a lot of time in the gym, right? So that like, to me, I feel like I'm recouping that time. Why are you disassociating as I'm talking?
No, I'm listening and I'm trying to think of like, what? Not why are you disassociating while I'm talking to you. One, I'm sick. My brain, it doesn't function the same way.
No, but all of a sudden I see your eyes like
they did the. I was just trying to think back to that time and I was like, oh yeah, we didn't have gym. But then I was like, man, I was probably like my second leanest during that time when I did all because there was not really much to eat. And I just did a bunch of cardio, and then I did a bunch of calisthenics. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I did a bunch of calisthenics, and stuff like that. So like
it's the fattest I've been anyway.
No, it was obvious.
We were both chunky.
Chunky.
Like you said, your delivery receipts. Like
yeah. Like I got big, and then I was like, yeah, let me cut it all off, and then I cut it all off, which shows it's really not that hard. Just saying. But yeah, all in the same time span, like literally. So,
but yeah, it was rough. That's one thing that I really did. Obviously, a lot of people say travel, and I feel like that's really financially dependent. So I understand, like, and it was
I always look back and I was like, I literally probably wouldn't have even traveled in my 20s to 24 or 25.
Probably didn't have that much money.
Yeah, like I generally wouldn't have traveled. Like nothing changed. Like COVID didn't stop me from traveling because I probably wouldn't have traveled.
I think during COVID, like we literally went to live in Madrid.
Yeah, near the tail end of it.
Like, well, we were allowed to.
Well, it was it was after COVID. Like, it was after COVID, after they had done the lockdowns, after they had opened up everything. But it was still, like, everyone was weary.
I remember having to wear a mask in the water park and getting literally waterboarded as I was going down. And I was like, I can't breathe. The freak's like, you're meant to take it off when you're on the down slide.
Because you're by yourself. Like.
You're literally killing yourself here. But, yeah, I think the travel thing people miss out on. And then if you did and you genuinely feel like that is the case, then like save your coin to do that. I don't know.
Afterwards.
Do whatever it is that you feel like you missed out on.
Exactly. Sorry guys, you're gonna hear some intermittent coughing and whatever and sniffling. But anyway, to meat and potatoes, maybe. So you have an option of starting either first with Temptation Island or Fourth Wing. You make a decision right now.
Oh my god, I feel like they don't match at all.
Exactly. This is whatever we want to talk about.
I think let's just talk about Fourth Wing. Like people will be here for Fourth Wing.
Oh my, no, they're not. More people, guys, say in the comment. I guarantee
know Emily's
them.
Screaming, throwing up because I messaged her being like, today's episode's gonna be about Fourth Wing, and she's like, I can't wait.
Everyone wants to hear about Temptation Island though, so I guess we can keep that for another episode.
But you know what? Yeah, let's talk about Temptation Island. Let's talk about Inside. Let's talk about.
Okay, well, we can do all that in one episode though. We don't have to do that right now.
Yeah, no, let's do that now. That's fresher, no?
Yeah, it is fresher, but you're saying Fourth Wing.
I'm sorry, I'm a book nerd.
Yeah, so let's do.
Guys, I actually finished Iron Flame.
Yeah, you did. She finished it yesterday.
Thank God.
It was a dredge near the end.
It was the roughest thing I've had to do.
Yeah, let me not lie. I'm not reading that book.
Why?
Because I don't want to drudge through it.
No, I think you'd like it actually.
You said 60%.
Okay, you wouldn't like the last. Like you actually, I feel like if there's people who do like it, they're not actually reading it.
Like, what is that meant to mean?
As in, you're not actually analyzing the actions that she's making. Spoiler, no spoiler, whatever. I don't care. Basically,
I don't care for spoilers.
I remember talking to someone about it, right? And then they're like, they're loving the ending more. And I was like, oh, what do you like about it? And then
what do you mean by that?
Yeah. And they're like, oh, it's just like the story is really good. And I was like, interesting. What's really good about it? Like, well, what's there to literally like?
Expatiate.
Yeah, please. And they kind of fell short. So I was like, how about the fact that the main character still has no control over their power after the second book, literally 2 whole books. And they're like, yeah, that was really annoying. And I was like, how about the fact that I spoiled it. That's the main character, whatever. She always needs someone to come and jump in and help her.
Oh, really? Still in the second book?
I'm literally...
I might just get an AI synopsis for Iron Flame and then just
read
skip.
60%. No, read the first... It's actually genuinely really, really
How about if I just get AI to summarize the whole thing for me?
No.
And I just jump to Onyx Storm?
I promise you, the first 60% is genuinely really good. Because it's a lot of the world building. It's not so much about their relationship. Like, we don't see them. We see the characters, we see the development, we see the story. And then it's just so... It gets so... main character focused, and we don't see much of anybody else, and it just pisses me off.
And I guess it's the fact that she doesn't grow during the focus.
Until the
at least if she
chapter,
grew during the focus.
Yeah, no control over her power after 2 whole books is insane.
Yeah.
And okay, you know what? This is not a Fourth Wing episode. We'll talk about it.
No. Continue.
No,
we're making it Fourth Wing now.
No.
Yeah.
No.
We're already halfway through the episode. Might as well make it Fourth Wing at this stage, So but no, so I guess before we continue on Nicoletta's rant,
Emily, this was for you.
I have finished Fourth Wing, the first book, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it very well. And then, once again, this is completely spoilers. Like, if you're
if you haven't read Fourth Wing.
If you haven't read Fourth Wing, you might as well just skip. You can stop listening to the episode now. You can drop off here. Well, you should have dropped off when she was already spoiling the second book, let alone me spoiling the first book. So, but the ending was kind of anticlimactic for me because I guessed it already. Like, I was telling Nicoletta from a very get-go, I was like, I don't think her brother's dead. I don't really think this guy's dead. Like, 5 years.
I'm surprised that you had... I'm surprised by that because at no point did I ever think of Brennan. Brennan did not cross my mind as I was reading Fourth Wing.
I was just like... There was just too many, we never... So, it's always I always say, if they don't show you or they don't tell you specifically, then it didn't happen. They're not dead. All we heard was Zayden's dad killed Brennan. Zayden's dad did this, or her, and then the mom got retribution like this, and we're never were we once told how he died.
Right.
It was just he died. I was and then he has all this secret little book that he gave for his sister about the thing, and I was and apparently he was one of the strongest, because of his powers. I was so how did he die? If he, how did he die? And I was this is just a mist, So I was Brennan's alive. And then I was this book is probably going to end up with us finding out Brennan's alive. Boom. We found out Brennan was alive, And this is one thing that Nicoletta had gripe with me for. So, I can't remember his name. Liam. I was about to say Jake. Thank God you said that. Liam died. He's a real one. He died for the cause. But shoot me.
Arrest me.
I don't think it was that deep of a death.
It was so deep.
Because deep this, I said it to Ral already, right? He literally had no consistency, more, we saw all of his character in one go, essentially. In the sense of when they went to the library the first time, and then he was flirting with your one, and then she found out about their little backstory as to why they were all marked and how it worked, and then being finding out that everything's not what it seems, because they only found out that your mother shouldn't have been killed, only your father. Your father shouldn't have been killed, only your mother. which is like, who sus? And that was the first thing that alerted me. I already felt, well, no, it's not the first thing. So I already felt like their world, their like country, were the bad guys. Because how do you have two different sets of magical creatures wanting to fight you? Crazy. One set of magical creatures like griffins being your sworn enemies, I understand. But now magically the Vinning and all these other ones are also your enemies? It sounds like you're the problem. Anyway, so and then finding out with Liam that his dad wasn't meant to die, but his mom was meant to be killed, but his dad wasn't innocent, but they killed the dad in front of him too. Sir, that sounds like a bad guy thing. So I was like alerted. And then eventually we found like his little quips he made here and there when they were training. He was being nice to her. She warmed up to him. It was cute. But we got no more character development from Liam. We just got quips, one-liners, and smirks. I'm sure on TV it'll look great. He'll look handsome, boyish.
It's not about that.
Loving.
We didn't cry because Liam was handsome.
No, well, my point is as in like his character is likable. Do you get me?
Very likable.
As in like he's a nice little like, But I didn't give a shit.
You're a cruel person.
So like I was like,
you have no heart.
So when he died, I was like, that is good. You took one for the team. What a bro. What a dude. No reason to cry over that. We didn't really bat an eye. He had fulfilled what he had to fulfill. He is protected Violet ever since Aiden told him, protect this girl.
Yeah, I disagree completely, okay? Liam's death lives with me, okay? I got actually so attached to him, and
Why?
I think we all did, because he was this likable character that was put in place to, like, serve a purpose, and it was obviously to protect someone that we also are meant to care about, right? Mm-hmm. But to be honest, I care more about him than about
really?
I ever cared about her.
What parts of the book made you feel more caring about Liam? Like what insights did you get from Liam?
It was obviously like his friendship with Zayden was huge because we know they grew up together and everything, and that instantly makes him likable because we love Zayden. Him being like, he was just like so loyal. We know he was such a loyal like friend, and I think the way he died, like for the cause, that was really impactful, because a lot of times people, like in this book especially, they just died out of like a dragon killing them. They fell off the parapet, whatever it is. So I think like his death was so commendable.
It was commendable, and I fully agree.
And it was just really impactful. Like I really liked the guy, and the way he went out, and like everything was just, it was just really beautiful, really cinematic, and him dying made me cry like a baby. I was literally sobbing. Like,
once again, commendable, but I feel like everything was just like, we didn't get any depth, as in like, we just knew he was loyal to Zayden, right? We didn't know.
But we got to know Liam.
Yeah, but we got to know like surface level Liam, and then we got to know one deep thing about Liam. And I feel like that was all we got, and then like not much anything else. So I was like, like if we had gotten more stories about how him and Zayden grew up together, if we like, besides the like, Zayden was kind of like the big brother taking care of all of us. We got more insight about how they grew up, like all the things that had to happen to them. If we got more about those things, I would have cared way more about Liam. But we just got like I feel like essentially like the way I see it is, if I was to put Liam's character depth in which we got from the book, probably be a page and a half of writing. Like you could put all of it in 1.5 pages of writing.
I disagree.
Okay. But that page and a half is a very good page and a half, but that's all we got. Versus like some characters where we get like so much information about stuff that just doesn't matter. But obviously Zayden matters because
we love Zayden.
But everyone else. So, but I did like the ending. Welcome to the revolution.
With Brennan, yeah.
Welcome to the revolution.
I think I was so heartbroken over Liam that, because I kept reading, obviously. Well, I took a little breather and then I kept reading. Finding out that Brennan was alive didn't really move me too much. I guess it wasn't like the most unexpected thing, but I think Liam died so closely to that I was still like there, and then I was like, okay, Brendan's alive, I don't care. Like, okay, we move, you know. But what did you think of? Okay, what did you think of Zayden? Shit.
Yeah, no,
Written as a male character.
I liked his character from the get go. I always liked this character. I thought he was a very likable character, even when he was meant to like, even at the very start. Sorry, the part at the start when we were meant to hate him, we never really got hate.
No.
Like, he was never a bad guy.
No.
Did you get me? Like, all he did was scowl. Really, at the start, you know, like, he scowled at Violet so much. Sorry, guys, talking and my throat was dying. But all we got was scowling, Zayden. And I was like, this guy just seems like a little chill little dude, you know. And then, obviously, the first proper interaction we get is when she's up on the tree and they're having the meeting, and then she comes down, and then they have that conversation. That was a cool interaction, you know. I think that's going to be a very pinnacle interaction on the TV show.
Oh, yeah,
they have to do that right, you know,
for sure.
Because that's when I feel like as readers start liking Zayden.
Yeah,
you know, like, okay, maybe there's more to this guy, you know, than we thought. And I think he was well written. I think he was a cool guy. I think he was pretty badass.
Did you ever get the feeling while they were in the tree that he was like shielding her with his shadows?
That so she wouldn't get caught
by the others.
Maybe
that was one of our theories.
Oh, I don't know. I've just felt like when I imagined she was massive, like a massive tree, and then I was like, here, like her coming down, and I was like, one thing I was saying, like, she was dropping down. There's no way leaves did not fall, and people were like, where are the leaves falling?
No, because he knew that she was there all along.
Yeah, we know he knows. Yeah. The whole time he knew she was there, but he just didn't care.
I think he was hiding her, and he waited till she came down.
Yeah, to be like, yo, if you snitch on me, I'll kill you. But I think from the get-go, Zayden was a likable character. Yeah. I think he's well written. I think he's good, cool guy. He's not just like a boyish boy just to be liked. I feel like she actually gave him depth. The only thing I do wish is that we got more of his backstory during the first book, and not just an account from other people. I wish him and Violet had some heart-to-heart where he explained, like, we know he's a good guy and he's like a big brother to all of them, but I wish he had told her his history. But
then they wouldn't swoop you into a second book or a third book,
which is fair. Like, did they just go into more of his history in the second book?
Yeah, we know a lot more of Zayden's history.
Cool.
Because obviously they're in Eretria now.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, which makes sense. Okay, because I do wish we got a little bit more of that, but I liked them anyway. But I just wish we got a little bit more in depth, even if it was just a little bit from, like, because I felt like, correct me if I'm wrong, I felt like Zayden was never vulnerable truly with Violet in Fourth Wing. I don't think he ever was. I think they had moments of like lusting or longing for each other, but he was never truly vulnerable with her throughout Fourth Wing, which made me be like, it made their relationship seem very like fake. Did you get what I'm saying?
Almost one-sided.
Like, if we never see Zayden be vulnerable with her, then why does Zayden like her?
Which is so crazy, because by Iron Flame, both Emily and I are like, does this bitch even love him? You know, or like, does she even care about him, you know? And I think I agree with you, and I think that was done on purpose, you know, obviously to leave us like wondering so much more about him, because we know him and we got to love him even though we don't know that much about him. And we haven't seen him be too vulnerable either, so obviously we see a lot more of that in Iron Flame, but I think that was on purpose in Fourth Wing to like, you know, keep us like questioning.
And I get it, but I feel like even just a little bit would have been good, like, because it doesn't seem like Zayden has a reason to like Violet, in my opinion. Yeah. Like, from Fourth Wing, I don't think Zayden has a reason to like Violet.
I'm so glad that you said that.
You know, like, he like if
why does he like her?
Yeah, like, if like
what's there's like about her?
It feels like that just like trope you have in shows where like they make the male character like the the female lead just cause. Like there's nothing there. Like Zayden literally has like, okay, he protected your secret and she seems like a nice person, but okay, so is every other girl like out here, you know, that especially
Emily's literally gonna love this so much.
But it's true, like, you know, because like so is every other girl out here, like, you know, like even deep, the girl, what's her name?
Rhiannon?
No, the girl that's loyal to him.
To him?
Yeah, I can't remember her name. Imogen. He has way more of a reason to like Imogen than he likes Violet. Like she's literally out here doing every single thing for him and doing whatever, and he's known her for a long time. So he has no reason to actually like Violet, and that was one thing.
I'll be so real. He has every reason under the sun to like anybody but Violet.
Yeah, like you know, like honestly, like brother could swing for Liam more than he wants Violet. Like, you know, like Violet hasn't done anything for him.
Yeah.
Like besides keeping that secret, she hasn't done anything for him.
Do you think that your impression of Violet from the first book? What is it like? Do you think she's like a strong?
Oh, I don't like Violet as a character.
Like, okay.
Oh no, I don't like her as a character at all. Oh no, I don't like Violet. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I like that she. Okay, before in case some people fourth wing people and they start going down my throat, I like that she portrays a strong-willed woman, but she's truly not really a strong-willed woman, right? Because if you think about it, more time she's a bitch, but she just magically, once again, and this is coming from a guy who has watched many animes where a lot of those characters are willpower, like Naruto, that's literally the entire thing, right? But the entire time, and this is like comparison, like for example, Naruto, never once ever, except for like maybe one time, does Naruto ever doubt himself. He's like, yeah, I'm weak, but I will keep fighting to get stronger.
Right.
Never once does he ever doubt himself. You can see he has that willpower. Violet continuously doubts herself, continuously is like, oh my God, this, that, the other. I hate this. Oh, I even in the back of her mind, oh, I want to go back to the thing. But then the moment someone else says like, oh, go back to the scribe quarter, she's like, no, I'm a strong, powerful woman. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, she gets this willpower.
Yes.
And that's my problem. It's like, you have to keep the same energy true. You can't just be like, I can understand the moments of like weakness where like all of them came to attack her in the middle of the night, that she's like, oh shit, right?
Yeah.
But the other times, you should be like, I'm going to keep pushing, I'm going to keep whatever. But instead, you're always crying, not crying, but like you're just always crying your head of like, oh my God, this. And then eventually out of nowhere, willpower.
Yeah.
And that's my biggest flaw with her. Because it seems, it's back to the like Zayden thing, like liking her. It seems like she has writers, you know, it's the writer making her like everything she has. She's not like her as a character without the power of the writer making her have Zayden randomly having willpower from nowhere. I couldn't see Violet as a real person genuinely being in the situation. She would have quit a long time ago.
She would have died on the pyramid.
Yeah, but out of nowhere, she just gets willpower. And like, once again, it's, don't get me wrong, those parts where she like stands up for herself and like just does something cool is cool.
On the rare occasion.
Yeah, but it just feels forced. Like, because it's not consistent with what her brain monologue is not consistent to the parts when she steps up. That is my problem with her.
And spoiler, arrest me. Nothing changes. Okay. Matter of fact, right? We actually see her make really rash decisions with little thought. And this balance of like writer and what is she meant to be? Scribe.
Yeah.
It's so constant, but she's shit at both. You know, it's like, here's nothing. Like it makes no sense. And like, I'll be real, I overlooked a lot of her flaws in the first book because it was a good book. Like, I enjoyed the story. I loved the dragons. Everything was new, and everything was so new that it was easy to overlook her flaws because I was interested in everything else. And obviously, Zayden as well, I was there for him more than her. And it just all happened to be through her lens. That's the only thing that just happened to be through her lens. However, when this like is so repetitive and continuous and you're getting an 800 page book, Iron Flame.
Iron Flame is 800 pages.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
of like this continuous, like flawed character. It's really annoying. It's genuinely really, really annoying. And like I said, one thing I loved in the first book about her was that she wasn't good at using her sickness straight away. I really liked that because that would have been really unrealistic for her to just be good straight away, whatever. However, when she's still not able to manage it by the end of the second book, I'm done. Crazy. I'm tapping out. Like, I'm tapping out. I can't do this anymore.
Yeah, you see, I was never blinded reading the book because I always overanalyze things.
I think she'll piss you off even more than it pissed me off.
Yeah, like, as I said, like, I really enjoyed the way overall the book is written. Like, the pacing, I don't know. There's just something about the pacing that's just really well done. Mm-hmm. When it's like the flow of like writing and stuff. But yeah, Violet, I've never really liked her as a character. Like, I just see her as like the vehicle that's getting me through the story, not really as like the person to care about. Unfortunate vehicle, you know, like. So
imagine we got Rhiannon's point of view. Like, I would eat that up. Yeah, she's actually a badass.
You know, like I just feel like Violet just.
Someone, I remember Emily was saying like, oh. At one point, she's like, I just wish I got a POV from the sheep that are getting eaten by the dragons. Like, anyone, please.
Yeah, no, Violet's character is very, it's just like, it's not really giving, you know? Like, she only has little moments of, you know, uprising, but besides that, it's not really giving. But everyone else is really well written, though. I like Xaden, Rhiannon, all them. Those are like cool characters and stuff like that. Even Jack
Barlow.
Yeah, he was a very well done.
What did you think of his death?
What's it called? Of her like beating him using her signet. Like, I don't know. It just felt like I knew she was gonna kill him, but I feel like it was very unsatisfying.
Right.
Yeah, you know, like it was kind of like
it's like it just so happened that the boulder fell on him.
Yeah.
Versus her like doing something.
Yeah, exactly. Like you know, like it's. Like, I would have, like, for a guy who's been tormenting you from the very start of the book, I would have wanted you to do it with your own hands. Mm-hmm. And, like, be like, that's what you get.
Think Violet gives that energy?
No, I'm saying that's what I wish, you know? Like, that's what you get.
In a way, I can't wait for you to read Iron Flame to meet Kat.
She's another mean character.
She's amazing.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, no,
and she's hot.
Well, you think. But yeah, no, I don't know. I think I wouldn't give Fourth Wing a 5 out of 5. Mm-hmm. Definitely. I would not give it a 5 out of 5. I don't think I'd give it a 4 out of 5 either. I'd give it more like a 3.5 out of 5, just due to the fact that. But I would asterisk it with like, because some people think 3.5 is a bad book, which is crazy because 3.5 is very. It's very
like
score.
Like if I see a 3.5, it's like I could really like this, or I could really hate this.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think I would say like you will enjoy the read without a doubt. Without a doubt, all its pitfalls, all its upsides, all its whatever, you will enjoy the read. I think, and this is coming from someone who loves fantasy but doesn't read romance books, right? And this is romantasy, right? So technically you think I am not the target audience because I like hardcore fantasies, right? But I enjoyed the read the whole time. In terms
of fantasy,
you know, in fantasy world, and also in the way that I think it's written well that it's like you're just on public transport and it's just you're not the one driving. You're immersed. You know, you're just go with the flow. Just feel like a passenger going through the flow. And I think that it's very, very big grace. I think if you wanted to compare its character building in comparison to other books, its character building is kind of lacking, honestly, like from a very like I'm comparing it to obviously like stuff like Lord of the Rings and stuff like that, right? Like which really builds on its characters, you know, like or different things, right? But like I think it's good. I don't think you need to go that crazy into building the whole world, building the characters so in depth, building all of this, right? Or even like Harry Potter, like those characters, were done well, you know. But I think it's enjoyable. I think it is literally just a fun read. I think if you come in to Fourth Wing open-minded, you will just have a fun read. It is generally just a fun read, besides all its pitfalls.
Do you think it's a good introduction to fantasy books?
Oh, absolutely. I think like one thing is, obviously if you like fantasy, then obviously it's like, oh, because it doesn't have the depth of what a fantasy, like as in like the real like we get a lot of, I think it's very hand wavy when it comes to fantasy kind of things. You get what I'm saying? In the sense of like, you're told, like, besides the dragons, everything else is just like, you're just told about them. You know, you don't get like proper like in-depth descriptions or about the world. Or like, for example, one thing I wish we knew more about was kind of like the structure of the world. Like, you know, we get the map and we kind of get told about like, oh, the mountain ranges and stuff like that.
That was definitely on purpose, because we discover a lot more.
Okay, then that makes sense.
More like discovering a map as you play a game. It's kind of like that.
Yeah, because I do wish they did like went more into like how the world is structured.
Like Fourth Wing is not a standalone book.
Yeah, exactly. Which obviously makes a massive difference. Yeah, but I think it's definitely something that would get people interested in fantasy. Like, oh,
do you know what I do think with Iron Flame? That you will like it more in terms of fantasy wise, in terms of world building, you know, finding out more of the history of the place and stuff like that. So I do think you'd like it in that aspect. Yeah,
which is cool. Yeah, no, but I think it is definitely a good introduction for people for fantasy. And I think people just enjoy the book generally. I do think it's a good read. I think even as a guy, like, even though like it is definitely from the female's perspective, like definitely way more like, you know, the female's lens, but I thought it was good. I
respect that. I respect that you picked it up and read it, you know. Yeah, you read it pretty fast.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, but I read it fast because I generally enjoyed reading it. Like,
it was a real page turner, honestly.
Yeah, you know, like I like as I said, don't get the fact that I give it 3.5 make it like thing. I'm very particular, like it kind of as in, like when it comes to rating, I'm very like harsh. So like realistically, it's like I think a hard 3.5, a light 4. You know, like honestly, it's a good book. It's a good read, and I think there are probably people who would have qualms with it, but I think vast majority of people, if you picked up the book, you would enjoy reading the book.
Yeah, and I think that's the popularity of the series makes sense because it's there for a reason.
Also, sorry to cut you off. To add on top of it, I think it's a good book for people who don't read.
People who don't read? That's interesting.
I don't think it's that hard. I think it's a very light read. And I
don't think it's a light read.
When I say light, I mean as in like...
I've read light reads.
Oh, okay. Well, but once again, like when I say light, I feel like I've read a lot of books way more that were heavy, like as in like it felt like you actually had to work through the book, right? Whereas I feel like a person who doesn't really read can just like pick up a chapter here and be like, oh,
so that's interesting. I think it's an easy read if you're a beginner fantasy reader. I think if you don't read, you will struggle with Fourth Wing. If you're a reader of regular books and you jump into Fourth Wing, it's an easy fantasy book to pick up. Iron Flame is a lot harder to keep up with. And if you don't keep up with all the small details, the people's names, this king, that person, you know, you will struggle through Iron Flame. If you're someone who cares about the details, if you're just reading it to read and you're like, oh my God, this is the best story ever, it's like, that's on you, you know what I mean? Like, there's something I could do about that. But if you're someone who's like, I want to know what's going on, I think Iron Flame delivers more of that complexity that Fourth Wing lacks. But Fourth Wing is such a good introduction. It just like sweeps you into the world and then leaves you wanting more.
That's basically a good point. That's good. That's
good call. And I wonder what Onyx Storm is like. I know people loved Onyx Storm, but
it's the ending, right? Because it's a trilogy.
There's 5 books. I told you that.
Sorry.
I told you she wrote them in like 4 years.
Yeah, 5 books. Oh, no. You know, I was literally just listening to TikTok last day. It's like, oh, trilogies are amazing because they're just the perfect sweet spot, you know? And I was like, oh, that'll be good. And I could finish this book in 3 books, finish off. No. 5 books.
Sorry.
We're getting to Harry Potter territory.
Yeah, but it's just 5. It's just the 5. We know that for sure anyway. But yeah, I loved Fourth Wing. I actually gave it a 5 out of 5. For me, 5-star books are based off literally just vibes in the moment when I'm reading it, and nothing else. You actually can't compare it to anything else, because you could tell me a review and I'd be like, you're so dead right. Someone else can tell me an opposite review and I'd be like, you're so dead right. So I think what matters is literally like the vibe and the obviously if the writing is shit, like I'm not talking about that, you know. I'm talking about a well-written book can be easily seen as like, it can be given such two different perspectives, and I think for me, if the vibe is right and I'm like really feeling it, that's like 5 out of 5. It doesn't happen often for all the stars to align, but occasionally happens, and Fourth Wing was that. And then to go from that to literally, I gave Iron Flame a 2.5, like, and that was a struggle.
You see, like, that's a bad score.
Yeah, that was a bad score.
That means it's just okay.
And 2.5 was solely for the first 60% of the book and the last chapter.
Lol. Yeah, no. I think 3.54 is my rating for sure. 3.5 to like 4.
Yeah.
As Anthony Fantano would say. A light 4. Good read. Enjoyed the book. I think it is good for sure. Do I think it's absolutely amazing? No. But once again, I think it's, in my mind, it's competing with giants in the fantasy world kind of thing, situation. So, like, but as a romantasy, I haven't read any other ones, but this one,
fictional.
if I was to read other romantasies, I would use Fourth Wing as my my basis of it has to be this good.
I listened, and I've talked about this before.
Oh, you listened to
Akatar,
yeah.
A Court of Thorns and Roses.
Yeah.
Like, it left me. I feel like I was listening for months, trying to listen for months to the same book, and I felt like I was getting nowhere. And I'm definitely someone who needs to read it to understand it, because listening, I can zone out. You know, I'm disassociating. But what I don't know. I don't know if I'd pick up the book. I actually don't think I could ever like sit through that. I hear that the 2 books in the middle are meant to be like, but why am I putting myself through hell for the 2 middle books?
Yeah, I always hate that idea. It's like, if the start is not good, why the hell am I doing that just for it to get good later on?
Yeah, no. And then the last 2 books are meant to be the worst. And the last
But some things actually make sense. Sorry, the reason I say this is because this is controversial. I didn't really like the first season of American Horror Story, right? Even though everyone swears that that's one of the best seasons ever, right? I didn't really like that season that much. But later on seasons, I actually preferred them.
Okay.
So, but each season is a standalone season though. So it's a standalone story. You don't have to watch them in order or anything at all. Yeah. But obviously, like, you know, so sometimes it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I suppose it's true. But I think with books, it's like I'm dedicating a lot of fucking time this, you know.
Yeah. It's not because it's not a mindless thing. Like, TV, you can just leave it on mindlessly. This thing, you actually actively have to use your brain.
And if you don't want to miss things, you know, you have to pay attention. And I hear that one of the last books in the Akatar series is written in third person. Why are you going from first person to third? First of all, I hate third person books. Like, I can't. But to go from first person into third person in the same series, like, give me whiplash. Why are we doing that?
It's a big switch.
So I don't think I'm picking up the series. I'm sorry.
That's fair. That's fair. Is there
any final thoughts?
Any final thoughts on Fourth Wing you want to say?
I have no final thoughts. I'm starting on Next Storm.
Yeah, I still like.
Fresh.
I'm actually kind of depressed. I found out that there's 5 books now.
He said, I don't want to continue.
Don't get me wrong, I like it, but I have other books I have to read. So.
Yeah, but I mean.
And those books are standalone books.
It'll be years by the time we actually get the 5 books.
Yeah, that's true. Because my books are standalone books.
You have time. I think we'll pick you up Iron Flame. It's cheaper in the airport, guys. We'll pick you up Iron Flame, Onyx Storm, and you can breeze.
Why can't I read on your Kindle?
No, because I want to get through Onyx Storm.
How big is Onyx Storm?
It's pretty big too.
Oh, really? Because this one's only like 600.
Yeah, Iron Flame was rough. And it has 2 parts. Like, why are we doing that? Anyway, child, we've yacked a lot about books. But I really wanted to get this episode out because the book is still fresh in your mind anyway.
Exactly.
And I just finished Iron Flame, so it just felt like right.
I know when I finish Iron Flame, then I'll be able to tell you how shit it is too.
Yeah, it might be months. That's what we had for you.
All right, we'll see you guys next time.
Next time.
Peace.